Hey everyone, welcome back to StarCraft Remastered. This is Terran campaign still. Yeah, so we're gonna rock out the last Terran. Oh my goodness, we can't talk. We're doing the last Terran mission of StarCraft Remastered. Of episode 1, let's say. There's another Terran campaign after this, but spoilers.
The fleet has lost contact with the ground forces at New Gettysburg. General Minsk has ordered the immediate disengagement of the Korhal fleet from the Tarsonian system. Protoss and ZERG forces continue to battle across the core continent of Tarsonis. Receiving incoming transmission.
I can't believe he actually left her down there. I'm gone, and you better come with me. There's no telling who Arcturus will screw over next.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Gentlemen, you've done very well. But remember that we've still got a job to do. The seeds of the new empire have been sown. And if we hope to reach...
To hell with you!
You're making a terrible mistake. Don't even think to cross me. I have sacrificed too much to let this fall apart.
You mean like you sacrificed Kerrigan?
You'll regret that. You don't seem to realize my situation here. I will not be stopped. Not by you, or the Confederates, or the Protoss, or anyone. I will rule this sector, or see it burn to ashes around me. If you try to get...
The fleet is prepped and ready, Commander, awaiting orders.
The hell with him. We're gone.
It appears that General Duke has successfully activated Tarsonis' primary defensive weapon, the ion cannon. The cannon must be shut down if any escape attempt is to be made.
Alright, so...
Commander, looks like we're on our own. It's funny. Seems like yesterday Arcturus was the idealistic rebel crusader. Now he's the law and we're the criminals. It kills me that we all do achieve his goals of conquest. Damn it. I shouldn't have let her go alone. Anytime you're ready.
Oh, cool, we have Jimmy. Cool, so I like this. We don't really start off with a whole lot, which is actually quite... I actually like that a lot. I don't like starting off with a whole bunch of stuff. Starting off with like a pre-built base is kind of, it's overwhelming for me, you know? But, boy, there's a lot of topics I want to cover today. And I'm already forgetting them, which is troubling. So let's make a quick mental note, just for myself. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about some finances. Not like personal finances, that'd be kind of weird. And I want to talk about why I liked this episode so much, and my game plan. But I think the game plan will come eventually. And we need more supply depots. So, now that I've said that, I'm still going to forget that. And you guys are going to be infuriated because at the start of the episode, I was like, oh, cool, like he made a mental checklist of what he wants to talk about. And he still forgot. That would be the beautiful thing. And we're blue again, which is quite nice. So for finances... let's talk about our game plan. So my game plan here for this mission is I want to use Marines and air units. Alright, done. Okay, that's checkbox 1 marked off. As for the finances, so I was talking to like my mom. So my mom and I went out for supper tonight. It was pretty cool. And we're just talking about like the spending habits of people. So. And this might get into too personal territory. I know I said it earlier, like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk politics or anything else. Game driver is available. All right, thank you. I'm going to get rid of that. And finances might be in this category, so if I offend anyone, like, please just say so in the comments. I can avoid this later. But for finances, I think the general rule is that, you know... spend less than you make, right? Like that makes sense to everyone. It's like, okay, cool. So I think that's straightforward concept number 1. And you might be saying, well, now you're like lecturing people. And you know what? I guess I am. I guess I am lecturing people. I still feel dirty saying that. I think, you know, my draw or my desire to be, maybe there's an innate desire for me to be more like sensational, which maybe that's not a direction I should take. So, backing up again, like this is my observations on finance. Let's build some bunkers actually while we're at it. Oh, we need a barracks though. So our economy's exploding right now, which is awesome. And we'll get that fire going. Another thing about finances too, I think, is that when you take out a loan, you're expected to pay that back with interest. And actually, I want to go back for a little bit. I wonder when I'll hit the point where I just become like too preachy. I'm like, you kids should do this, or whoever's watching is like, you should do this. And I think if I do hit that point, I want people in the comments to stop me. I want people to prevent me from being a tyrant before I become one, though I think that might be my responsibility. To check myself rather than having other people police me, which I think that's fair, to be honest. And we're gonna mine this out so fast. So okay, I guess going back on finances though, like so for loans, we've discussed that yes, if you take a loan, you're gonna pay back with interest, and I think. There we go. I think what some people don't realize is that when you pay back a loan, so the specific example, and I'm not going to drop names just because I also don't remember the names. If you, why would he do that? That was really excessive. And I guess we're going to build an academy. So I think for now we're just going to rely on Marines. And minimalistic upgrades. Actually, we should try and get a starport up as soon as possible. So the person gets like a $9,000 loan, and they had a lot of credit card debt. But I'm thinking, okay, if you have a lot of credit card debt, you should be using like that loan to help pay off your debts, so you're not sinking as much. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. But the person spends like $1,000 on like their hair, like styling their hair, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sorry, but that's absurd, I think. Like, don't you realize the situation that you're in? You already have credit card debt, you take out a loan, and again, I would like to emphasize that a loan means you have to pay back the money with interest. So if you take out $9,000 now, you're gonna be paying presumably a lot more than $9,000, down the line. So it's like, okay. And I'm not saying loans are evil. I think, like everything, there's a time and a place. Like that's fine to me, but we ran out of space way too quickly. So yeah, we're gonna just throw Marines at things and try and kill people that way. I guess we can build one here and one here, and we'll get this and this. Like, it baffles me that some people have that thought process. And I guess ultimately my point is I don't think not everyone's got the same head and shoulders. And normally I try not to criticize other people because like we're all different, right? What one of us might think to do might not necessarily be obvious to someone else. So maybe I can't come down too hard on these people, but again, I think it's still confusing to me that they would think that even though I'm in debt, I should spend more money on things I don't actually need. Like like you can tell, like I'm speechless. Like I don't know what to say. Like on one hand, I have a desire to be respectful, and again, that's why I don't want to be like, oh, like you should do this or whatever, because I don't know people's stories or like their walks of life. Like how do I know what situations they've come from? But then, by the same token, it's kind of like, this is a bit of an extreme example, I suppose, but it's like human decency, Like, yeah, some people might not think to be decent to other people, yet I would still hope that that would be the general treatment. Like, say something like, oh yeah, they didn't treat this person with respect. it's like, dude, come on, like, you know, I'm a firm believer in equality, and like, I know I've said a lot that yes, people have different beliefs, but by the same note, I think that it's important to, you know, have your own set of beliefs and stand up for them. So even though I might say, oh yeah, people have different beliefs, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself if I say, okay, I should, you know, let people, you know, bully others around because of different skin color, gender, like whatever you name it. And I think this is getting a little bit political, so maybe I should like count right now. But same thing for the finances. I think it'd do some people a lot of good if they just learned in school that, hey, if you're floating a lot of debt, maybe don't take out a loan and spend that on frivolous things. You know, I think that's pretty, like, I don't want to say common sense, but I guess for some people it is. And I guess it's like, well, what about like healthy eating? A lot of people don't eat healthy too, and it's like, well, then I guess you have to raise the question. It's like, well, just because a lot of people don't do it, and I think so. Let me take a step back and let me say that I think healthy eating is important, but for the sake of the argument, let's just assume that a lot of people just don't eat healthy. Now, does that mean I should be complacent and let these people not eat healthy, or should I like try and say something? And I think that's a difficult situation because on one hand, I think it's difficult because on one hand, you want to, I think you want to be helpful, but I'm hesitant to give unsolicited advice, you know, because some people, like, they never ask for that. Like, maybe someone's eating, it's like me coming up to someone who's eating some ice cream saying like, hey, ice cream's bad for you. But what if like he was just taking a cheat day, and or like it was he ate very good all week, he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna reward myself because I had a good week. Like, I'm not him, so who am I to really say? But and I guess that's the crux of it, is by me saying that, oh, like, shouldn't this person have better spending habits? It's like, well, you're not them. So I don't think I have a responsibility to tell these people what to do. But that said, I just think it's so destructive that you kind of want to do something, right? Oh, hello, Marines. We're also going to lose a lot of Marines here. This is going to be a meat grinder. That's some biomes, but we're not interested in that. And this is a subject I don't really have, I think, a clear endpoint on, because really, again, it's hard for me to say. We need another building spot, and I think we're going to get it here. But we can get more Marines.
Your forces are under attack.
But again, just because a lot of people might not eat healthy, I still think that's something we should teach in schools. But like, that's my own belief. Someone else might say, it's like, well, healthy eating might be overrated. And again, I'm a guy in a chair playing video games talking about this kind of stuff. So what, like, I'm one person, so how can I make decisions for everyone else? Though, again, if we're complacent, then I think sometimes we run the risk of, say, bad things happening, like if like extreme racism or something. And you know, I might say, oh, I want to make people feel welcome here, but I think again it's important to me that like I feel strongly about equality and treating people fairly. So, and you might say, well, honestly, I think that, hypothetical example, this is not my viewpoint, but if you say, oh, I honestly think that we're just strictly better than Japanese people, I don't think I want you watching my content. Like, you're not the kind of person, the audience member I want to attract. I want to attract people with like open minds, right? So, and I think if you can't please everyone, you're not pizza, you can't make everyone happy. So I think we have enough money, so we can charge in here. So and at some point you gotta take a stance. So I guess for me, I should say, hey, you know what? I feel strongly about finances because I think it's, you know, I won't say that's like, oh yeah, it's simple and everyone can do it, but I will say I think, you know, there's benefits to knowing your finances and, you know, doing a good job of them. That I am comfortable saying. Yeah, these tanks are going to destroy us, by the way. Yeah, see that tank right there?
Your forces are under attack.
I think actually our best bet is to like not fight the tank.
Give me something to shoot.
Oh, you defensive matrix. Who earns?
You want a piece of me, boy? Jacked up.
Alright, so that was really bad. That was a slaughter. We have a lot of minerals though, so which is good, but I want to take that base. We need...
Nuclear launch detected.
Oh dear.
Piece of me, boy.
Where is that? Oh, right there.
Right away, sir. Orders received. I reach it, sir. Oh, is that it? Rock and roll. Yes, sir.
Well, that was too bad.
Commander, go, go, go.
That's fine though.
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of something I was thinking about earlier today. So, and again, going back to the finances, it's all about like exponential math. Like again, if you take out a loan,
Piece of me, boy.
it's going to cost more later on, and that's why, you know, if you have a house or something, you want to put as big as payments as possible. Yeah, I think honestly we need to get the factory into the science facility.
Job finished. Job finished.
Because I did a project in university one time where it's like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to determine the cost of, you know, paying off a house. Like, you have your mortgages, you have your other costs or whatever.
Give me something.
And your goal is to try and pay off the house as quickly as possible. And I discovered that 80 to 90% of like what you pay in your lifetime towards a house, 80 to 90% of that, that's interest. That's a lot of money. And that's the thing, like, that's why I don't feel justified in like really getting on people's cases for not knowing about that specifically, because, you know, I have a math background, so that stuff comes more easily to me than some other people. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think there should be more incentives in place to learn that kind of stuff, because I think we sorely need it. Because it can really affect people's quality of life. Like, by a significant amount. Because, I mean, dude, that's a lot of money. Like, $9,000 for a loan? Like, And again, like, I don't know where these people come from. And this is kind of like all, like... And I think there's a difference between, say, white supremacists, you know, terrorizing other people, than say, like, oh, someone has a drug addiction. And this is where I think I'll say something, and then some people might be like, oh, I was following you up right until they say this. I think for people, though, like, they're a product of their environment. Like, I think if you say, look at a white supremacist and how they grew up, you could see how... You can see why they became the person who they became. Not saying like that's a good thing. I'm not saying because you understand why that person became a white supremacist, like it's good that they're a white supremacist. But I'm just saying, if you look, you know, watched a movie of their life, you might say, okay, I can understand how they came to those conclusions. Like, for example, if their parents were white supremacists, they might just grew up in that house when they didn't think twice to, you know, question it and say, oh, well, you know, if mom and dad say this, and surely it's just the right answer. But then, when really we say, well, is that truly right? And again, like, the ultimate disclaimer, and this is where philosophy comes in, probably like weakens my argument a bit, is saying that, well, these are just like my opinions. Like, this white supremacist will probably look and say, no, I'm justified in believing what I'm believing. It's you who's the crazy one. Which, I mean, that's unfortunate. I really believe that it is, but, you know, we do. I think we have to acknowledge that people have different opinions. Though that being said, for the case of me, you know, like white supremacy, racism, all that stuff, I think it's up to me to say, hey, I'm not okay with that, man. Like, that's bad. And like the finances, yeah, that's troubling to me. But there's worse things. Again, like stuff I've been covering, I think that's been pretty bad. And admittedly, some things are a lot more gray case. Like, for example, like this is kind of words I'm not really going to open, but let's say we were talking about abortion. Like, the only thing I'll say about abortion is, like, is a controversial subject. Like, full stop right there. We're not getting any deeper into that. Hopefully we're banging out some more dudes out. Banging out? I don't know if that's a good way to say it. I'm going to move that a little bit, and we're going to get another barracks. And we'll get upgrades. Yeah, we really need that expo though. That's a lot of. So I think what we'll do actually, once we get 4 raised, we can start. Actually, no, we can keep the barracks here because it's not blocking anything. So that's kind of like thought, you know, paying for my thoughts, right? And I think I'm also like pretty pro education. I think, like, you know, for these points, well, and it depends on what kind of education. Like, for me personally, I'd probably say more emphasis on like language and communication, and for me, mathematics. But again, I will fully admit that I have a mathematical bent, so for me that just, you know, makes sense why I would, you know, argue for greater mathematics. Also, I know I said we're gonna have 4 race, but I kind of lied. Also, I hope we didn't do a like anti-timing attack. Nah, we're fine now. So we can use these guys to pick off tanks. That's probably our big plan. So if we see a tank, we need to kill him. So unfortunately, the Graves aren't that great at air to ground. Like, we need a lot of them to make it work. Those guys are toasted. Look at that. So we definitely have our base now. I gotta need to go too. And I think we do need battle cruisers at some point. You guys can go in here. And you can start building a command center. Yeah, we'll just tear these down. Oh dear. Oh, the game's lagging a little bit. I guess I have too much stuff on screen. That's a bit of an interesting thought. So I think that's, yeah, again, I feel like I've treaded water and repeated some of the same points over and over again. And that was a pretty heated conversation starter. Dude, why are we, why are frame rates stuttering? I'm not quite sure. Game speed has a, game speed. Oh, it just went down for some reason. Alright. Okay, there we go. That's better. I was saying my computer should be struggling with StarCraft Remastered because I know I can play 2 just fine.
Your forces are under attack.
Oh, we never set the rally point. Ah, okay. And we'll check what's down here. Right, okay, so what was I talking about? Why I like this episode so much is, I think for starters, it feels pretty realistic, right? Like, you have a corrupt government, and then you have, say, the freedom fighters, like, oh, hey, like, join our side. But then it turns out that the guys that you put in power were just as bad as the people before them. And I don't think, like, that's always the case, but I think for this is a breath of fresh air because some people are like, oh well, every time the rebels like come in and win, like they're the good guys obviously, so everything will be hunky-dory afterwards. Like, well, no, here we got the rebels to the point where they'd win, but here they're the villains. And we need battle cruisers. Oh god, this is gonna hurt. I think I need stim as well. Alright, well, how much money we got here? We got some. We need to explore though. And we do need to build our air fleet, but that's gonna come. What's decloak? C? Alright. And maybe this is like just because of the media I digest. You know, you might say, well, there's a lot of cases where someone gets into power and they're just as bad. And like I've said before, it's not always going to be the case, but on the same note though, it's cool that it happened because it's saying, well, it might not necessarily always be the case, but to say that it can happen would be weird. And I think it's a nice take, especially for the time this game came out. That was a bit of a unique thing to happen. This is in the base. Ah, yes, here we go. So we need to explore with you guys. And we definitely need a better gas economy. And we're gonna build minerals there. By build minerals, I mean build a refinery. And I think even like to this day, StarCraft's like one of those few stories where, you know, someone gets in a position of power and what is going on with you? That's very right. Or they get into a position of power and like they're just bad. Like, it's a unique take, I think. And you know, if you have counter examples, please say so below. And I don't think this is like immediately good just simply because it's dark. But I think it's good because it feels realistic. You know, I can get behind that. I was like, okay, I understand what I'm saying. Oops. Get in there. And I think I should get... I'll get stim just in case. Oh. Interesting. Okay. So where are the... So I guess white must be over here then. That makes sense. And we need to build another command center for that other expo. We're expansion hungry. That's exactly what it is. And again, like, I appreciate that this campaign is dark, but just because something is dark doesn't immediately mean that it's like it's just good. I don't think that's entirely accurate. Weapons and well, 300. We're gonna have to cancel our Wraith, I think. I mean, we shouldn't be queuing up anyways, and this is the reason why we shouldn't queue up. And like, it's relatable. Like, there's so many things going on here. Like, the characters are good. I enjoy the character, and I think part of the reason why I like the characters is because I look at them and I was like, this seems plausible to me. Where is that? There he is. That's hard to see. So we're gonna throw everyone at white and see what happens. Because we have a lot of minerals. And I will say, I think the StarCraft 1 story is quite a bit better than 2's. I get some people appreciate... Oh my goodness, look at the Million Man March. We're not playing Terrans, we're playing the Imperial Guard. Oh, if he's using the happiness, this is going to make our job harder. I mean, the Marines are eventually going to get through. This is going to be... Oh, man. Let's get out of there. I mean, I guess. Cool. Oh, and then you irradiate. Get out. I think we broke them though, just because we threw so many men at them. Well, so this was a learning experience for everyone here, I think. Is that if you have enough Marines, you can just kill anyone with Marines. That's nasty. And like, imagine if I had medics. Tactical retreat, my brothers!
Your forces are under attack.
Alright, well. I'm gonna admit, that was a bit of a disaster. Clearly the solution is more Marines, though. And more race, but I also think we should get a starport. I thought I was gonna be able to talk a lot more about like why I liked episode 1 more than the others, but there really wasn't a whole lot. And I don't think episode 1's my favorite episode, but it's definitely one I can really appreciate. Yeah, so we lost a lot of race. See, race just low monkey chunks when it comes to air to ground. Like they're not good. Like look at that, 10 damage. Yeah. Like yeah, we had anti-air kind of lockdown, but by the same token, it's kind of like well, cool, but they didn't really use air units. And we should get a hit squad source up in here. I want to see if there's more minerals. Now transfer some of you guys over here. Oh, the other thing, I guess, one thing I like about episode 1 is that you gotta play humans. I like humans. Humans are fun. Terrans as they will.
Your forces are under attack.
Oh, it's a battle cruiser. Alright. We should also probably... Well, I mean, if we're doing areas, it's gonna be easier for us to get over there anyways. Control 7, Control 4. And we'll put some we'll station some Marines over there. Actually, we should station the Marines. No, I don't think we're going to station them anywhere. And we'll build another command center here. And we'll actually build another one here. Something's in the way. That's probably the SCV. Oh, actually, what we could do is we can use our Wraiths to destroy the battle cruiser. So here's where the Wraiths actually shine. More Marines.
Go ahead, Roger.
Wherever that battle cruiser went off to. There he is. Yeah, they cleaned that off easily. I mean, granted he was damaged by the Marines. I think the Marines were taking him pretty easily too, but that's just kind of more for fun demonstration. And what else to talk about, man? Like, I feel like the world's at my oyster. The world's at my oyster, that's definitely not the right thing to say. But the world's my oyster. I don't know my sayings very well. Oh, I guess going back to like why I think, you know, we should prioritize like English and communication over some other areas of study. And some people might say like, no man, we need to go all into biology. Dude, that's completely okay if you think that. I'm just saying. Oh, whoops. Control 4. Control 5. I'm just saying like what I believe, because I think mathematics, for me at least, like it's everywhere. And I don't think we need to like teach mathematics at like a super high level, but I think just enough mathematics to say, oh, okay, you can get by and do your finances. Like going back to way earlier to our initial conversation point. I think that's important. That, you know, to me makes sense. Though of course some people will be like, well, nah. Whereas biology, physics, and like chemistry, like I don't think they're useless. I just think it's more of a, well, it depends like what your trade is, right? So obviously, if you're, you know, physics major, you're gonna need physics. Cool, I get that. But I don't need any physics or chemistry to do my job. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a million-man march again. And we'll send up the heavy artillery to clean up after them. And the reason why we had to use the Marines is so that we could actually like, get to late game, because we didn't have like this buffer, then that would suck for us. And these Marines should take this easy. And we could probably use more guards, so. Alright, so.
Your forces are under attack.
Oops.
Nuclear launch detected. Your forces are under attack.
Where's that nuclear launch at? That's really worrying. I don't know where it is. Oh, snap. Can't believe I missed that. Sorry, guys. I know nukes are a lot of fun to watch. Oh, shoot. The ghost killed everything. Ah, see, I was too distracted and didn't do anything. Okay, this might actually require a little bit of finesse on my end. And we're gonna expand again. We need the money. I mean, now I know where he's gonna want to nuke. Wow, they cleaned that up so fast. So I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna rally here now.
Your forces are under attack.
We get our Marines there.
Forces are under attack.
Let's move. Transmit coordinates. Reporting in. Sector locked in.
Where'd the other Valkyries go? I don't know.
Battle cruiser.
Oh, he's there, alright. We're gonna need support. Race, where are you? Come back. We may be able to save this guy, actually. Alright, cool.
Your forces are under attack.
Okay, and I am getting distracted. Alright, Yamato gun.
Not enough energy.
Oh, not enough energy. Focus fire.
Your forces are under attack.
Change focus. Alright, that's fine. We need to repair them though. And you guys need to come over. Oh my goodness, alright. And we're running out of money, which is really scary to me. Yeah, we've not a lot left. Oof. Yeah, those ghosts really make it difficult, that's for sure. I think our best chance, honestly, was that million-man march, but then we kind of whiffed it. Whiffed it good, I might even say. Yeah, look at that. We're like running out of money. Oh boy. Alright, we're gonna have to like peg most of it on this. I mean, we have one more base, but that doesn't make me super confident. I'm also hoping with like the 4 battle cruisers and whatever else we have, that should be enough to do it. And actually, let's send a Marine to scout. And these guys are going to transfer over. Alright, so. Alright, so what do we got? We have. We're going to have, what, 7 battle cruisers? Plus him? Alright. Okay, I think we can do this. We do need to be careful, though. I do run the risk of actually losing this if I'm not very careful. But I think we'll be okay, because that was very cost inefficient. Speaking of cost inefficient, taking out student loans. Oh! Snap. And I guess where I might be a little bit different than some other people is that I really like firmly believe that there is no such thing as objectivity, whereas I think for a lot of people they disagree with that, and I think that's fine too. That's nothing wrong with that. And I think I wonder too, because I don't take a hard stance on anything, if people think that like you're complacent. But I think that's kind of where I say is like, well, everything in moderation. You know, like, and I guess in other words, like, pick your battles, right? Like, if someone's saying, hey, you know what, chocolate ice cream is better than vanilla, dude, that's fine. Like, I don't really care. But again, like, for the more controversial issues, I think that's where it's like, okay, you should maybe say something. Okay, so yeah, the Marines had to go in there and sweep up all the ghosts. Like, all these ghosts can go die in a fire. Because they're hard to control, man. And, you know, everything for moderation, like, I don't think that applies just to police. I think it applies to other walks of life. You know, for example, like fitness or healthy eating. Like, yes, I believe in healthy eating, but I also think that every now and again, like, hey, you should have some fun and eat what you want to eat. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh my goodness. I want... Oh, they're 3-3 as well. Okay, so it's an even fight. Alright, and what we actually need now is another geyser. Because we sure as heck can't fly our Marines over. But now we have more bases, so we definitely have this in the bag. And I think there's also, and this is a large part of the reason why I think life's just difficult in general, because it's hard to know like, what's the right answer or the right thing to do. Because I say like everything in moderation, but then you have to ask yourself, where do you draw a line? And everyone draws those lines in different places. Like for some people, I even like, you know, we could do a lot of examples like politics, but fitness or like what they should be eating. People draw different lines all the time. Like, you know, for me, not to brag. It's like, well, now he's totally bragging, but I'm not a fat man at all. Like I'm pretty thin, so. It's like, well, how'd you get there? It's all because, like, you know, my lifestyle choices. But, you know, just because I had one lifestyle and someone else had a different lifestyle doesn't mean that one of us is right and one of us is wrong. And I feel like I might be hitting a lot of touchy subjects today, and, you know, again, I'm not trying to antagonize anyone. I'm trying to make conversation, right? And I think some people, they'll, like, really like this stuff. And be like, hey, you know, I really enjoyed your commentary, whereas I think other people will say, you know what, you went too far. And that's fine, you know, I think it's part of feeling it out. Like, so far, I haven't gotten any comments saying, like, dude, that was, you know, you were out of line. For the most part, people were just like, nah, man, that's... people have said, hey, I enjoy your videos, and that's cool to me, that people, like, enjoy my stuff. And this is, like, just an outlet for me to talk and, you know, collect my own thoughts. Like, on one hand, yeah, this is, you know, helpful for you. Not helpful, but this is entertainment for you guys, but for me, it also just, it lets me freeball. Like, this is kind of what lets me have a quality think. You know, whereas, shoot, man, I'm distracted. Now I'm like full StarCraft mode, even though the missions I was at. We had so much good commentary, I felt like. Because I'm trying to repair these battle cruisers, man. Yeah, and all these are like damaged. We have a ton of battle cruisers. So okay, everyone who's full health, we just throw over there. Yeah, that's probably easier. All right. So he's not. He is. You're not. You two are. Come over here. You're not. You're not. You're not. And you're not. All right. Cool. And I hope.
Good day, Commander.
I was gonna say, I hope I'm not like that guy who, you know, who offends people. And again, you gotta pick your battles. If I offend someone just because I'm playing this game StarCraft, it's like, oh, that's violence. Like, well, what do you expect me to do? And I'm not advocating, you know, that we should all be like heartless. Again, like the entire thing is everything in moderation, which is, I guess, in some way that's frustrating. Because it's not like I'm handing out like secret life advice, like, hey, if you do 2 push-ups and eat a pickle, you're gonna like have 20 years tacked onto your life expectancy. It's like, well, no, that doesn't happen. We need more gas, so we're gonna take that. All right, let's go.
All crews reporting. Receiving transmission. All crews reporting.
All right, let's see if we can do this. All right, fly the Concords with this Wraith. I'll make one the Wraith. Wait, can we all just do a model cannon that? I think we can. Watch this. This is gonna be fun. How much health does it have? Oh yeah, easy. Watch. You know, I thought... Okay, well, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. I thought that was a little anticlimactic. Hey, we're done. We're winners. Former militia, Sons of Coral, Sons of Coral. Alpha Squadron and Elite Guard. We did it. We destroyed them. Get toasted.
Fellow Terrans, I come to you in the wake of recent events to issue a call to reason. Let no human deny the perils of our time. While we battle one another, divided by the petty strife of our common history, the tide of a greater conflict is turning against us, threatening to destroy all that we have accomplished. It is time for us as nations and as individuals to set aside our long-standing feuds and unite. The tides of an unwinnable war are upon us, and we must seek refuge upon higher ground lest we be swept away by the flood. The Confederacy is no more. Whatever semblance of unity and protection it once provided is a phantom, a memory. With our enemies left unchecked, who will you turn to for protection? The devastation wrought by the alien invaders is self-evident. We have seen our homes and communities destroyed by the calculated blows of the Protoss. We have seen firsthand our friends and loved ones consumed by the nightmare
organized strength. Already many of the dissident factions have joined us. Out of the many, we shall forge an indivisible whole, capitulating only to a single throne. And from that throne, I
shall watch over you. From this day forward, let no human make war upon any other human. Let no Terran agency conspire against this new beginning, and let no man consort with alien powers. And to all the enemies of humanity, seek not to bar our way, for we shall win through, no matter the cost.
Oh boy, there you have it. So that was a cool. So that ends the Terran campaign. Next, we're gonna be doing ZERG. But I like the speech because I thought it was like, oh, it's a typical like propaganda speech. But there were some hints in there, say, to kind of show that, oh yeah, Manx is in it for himself. That like he wants to be the ruler of all of humanity. And moreover, to that point, that was a pretty xenophobic speech. It's like, Protoss, we hate Protoss. Blah! And I'm like, dude, Protoss are cool, man. I mean, I would, I prefer Terran them over the Protoss. Protoss are cool boys too. And you might be saying, well, what about the ZERG? Maybe you're the xenophobe, Fredgy. I'm like, well, hey, man, I like ZERG too. And at this point, you've already turned off the stream. You're just like, it's not even a stream. You've already shut down the tab. But you're like, I'm done with this YouTube video. This makes me sick. Blah! Anyways, thank you all for watching. I had a lot of fun playing this. And I hope you guys had fun listening to me ramble about, I guess, some sensitive subjects, but yeah, hopefully next episode won't be as bad and we'll be playing ZERG, so that's cool. So let's see you guys next time.